Hi, aloha. Um, Coming to you live from Hawaii, and Sarah Ripper is going to be joining us for a live Q&A, our weekly live Q&A that we're doing every Monday to give you an opportunity to ask your questions about mindset work, about energy alignment, about money mindset, about really feeling like there's more flow, more momentum, and more ease and less resistance in creating whatever it is that you desire to create, whether that's in your business, your career. That's specifically what we're going to be supporting with. But once you start understanding these practices, you can really apply them to any area of your life. So we'll just give it a couple minutes. Oh, here we go. I'm going to add Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Joining us to the Big Creative Fun Facebook community. So feel free to send me your questions.
Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
How are you? Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. Great.
How's life down under?
Great.
Is it hot?
It's actually it's not as crazily hot as it has been. So it's been a bit of a reprieve, a little bit of rain and a little bit more cool. So it's been nice.
It's cool a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm happy for you. I'll give you a little tour of where I am in a minute because I just came to Kauai in Hawaii, which is like Jurassic Park, like amazing. And it's just like hardcore jungle and like just probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my entire life. So
Wow.
I'll give you a
Yeah,
minute.
let's see it.
Just sharing to the group, and I'm just seeing if anyone has posted any questions for us. Let me just check. I did a couple of posts yesterday and today. And then we can get stuck in
Cool.
to chatting about mindset and energy alignment. So I don't know if there's anything you're feeling particularly inspired to share or to focus on or to talk about today, or anything that's been on your mind, anything that people have been coming to you with.
Momentum is something that's been coming up for me in my projects and in people who have been coming to me. So them noticing that, like, and we of course we know this theoretically, but like I don't know about you, but for me, like the more I do, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a thing. It's about embodying the practice of it. Like when we take a step, the universe takes 10 steps for us, or then we're it's just like we keep saying, like being in action.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this last week as well, that like being in a decision, being in like an 100% decision, not like one foot in, one foot out, or like I'm kind of deciding, but I'm not really following through. But like when you 100% decide, like this is the result that I'm creating, and like I'm not available for it not working.
Mm,
Going all in,
mm,
like how that really changes the way that you're showing up, the
totally.
actions that you're taking, the energy you bring to it. And yeah, like you say, that just becomes a magnet, and suddenly opportunities, like doors open, everything starts to flow, and that momentum starts happening.
Yeah, yeah. Choosing powerfully.
Okay, I'm just gonna take you over and show you the view from my window right now. Let me see if I can turn it around. Here we go.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, the beach is right there. What a beautiful
Yeah,
little
it's like Nikki Beach down there.
garden.
It's so pretty.
It's
So Hawaii's,
gorgeous.
but there's always some landscape design work going on, and it's really noisy. There's like
Oh.
always a leaf blower going. There's always like some trimming. There's always some kind of machinery happening. I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining.
all good.
Yeah, so momentum, and that's like exactly the work that we've been doing together, and that we're obviously doing in our program, is bringing all of those little pieces together to create that alignment, to create that momentum, like pulling those little bits of resistance, those stories, those that like emotional resistance, that fear, anything that's kind of like clinging on to the foot that's trying to get across with the one foot in the yes and one foot in the maybe or the no or the I don't want to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess one question that came through for me today, actually, Elizabeth responded to my webinar that I did, and she was talking about actually getting some like tangible and specific support with like finding clients and yeah, how to find clients and how to market her services. And see, I think a lot of people are always looking for like the specific, strategic, step by step, what do I do? And for sure that can be really helpful. But actually it's so much easier to work on the mindset work and the inner clarity and the decision and the confidence and the showing up, because then the right action for you suddenly becomes really clear. Like, we know, like we always know how to show up and make an offer. We know how to talk about what it is that we're doing. We're just in the story of a lack of clarity because we are lacking confidence, or we're afraid of change, or we're resisting something about being more visible. And actually when you get that internal dialogue straightened out of actually I do have clarity, actually I always trust myself to know what the next best next step is for me, suddenly it becomes really clear. I mean, those kinds of tangible strategic actions, you can, obviously working with a coach and mentor, really, really helpful. But there's always a way for you to find out that like, well, X, Y, how do I do this? We know all of the possibilities. We know all of the, the different avenues that we can go down. It's really about feeling into what is most easily accessible to you now in this moment where you are. Because someone can be like, here's a strategy to, I don't know, launch a business on YouTube. But it can still take, all of that time to build a following, to start, creating content, to start getting your keywords and your titles down and create your graphic images. There are things that take time, which obviously if you're drawn towards that, amazing, do it, be building. But there's always an immediate way to produce a result that is accessible to you now in this moment. Like whatever is the next step for you, that will be that big leap, that will be, being able to be of service and bring whatever it is you're doing to people who are ready for it now. There's always, it's just like lifting that veil. Once you get into that conversation of, yes, it is possible for me. Yes, I am open to clarity on my next step. Yes, I'm willing to receive, the money that I'm asking for the services that I'm providing. Suddenly, like boom, opportunities show up. You think of something, you reach out to something, you attract something through a referral or a connection, or you're like just happen to be in the same room with somebody who like really resonates with what it is that you're doing. And all of those magical things start to happen when you sort of do that inner cleanup. And I think that's a really, really important message. And sometimes we avoid doing that work because it's easier to be like running around like a headless chicken.
Totally.
Pretending we don't know what our strategy is, rather than facing our fear and like showing up and actually doing that thing that matters and that would change everything and that would shift everything.
Yep. And it's so powerful to do that on multiple levels, like you're saying, because it's really easy to look at all the strategies, and strategies are important, and there's a place for that. But if we're going into doing those strategies from a space of not being complete, or a space of really deep down not being willing to receive that, it's not going to work, and then that's going to build on the frustration. And that was something I noticed working with a client yesterday, and he works as a healer, and we're working on his business practically and energetically. And so as things came up, we'd just clear whatever was in the way, like clear the belief or I'd catch him on the things that he was saying. And he was like, oh yeah, actually, no. Like, yeah, great. Like just seeing how those little, they can be really insidious, like just popping up there. And so that's why it's great to work on multiple levels with these sorts of things, and to clean up the mess on multiple levels. So going back to, okay, are there things that I need to get into alignment with my finances, or have I been avoiding getting back to people or doing my tax or whatever it is, like cleaning up those spaces can also create a clearer space to receive from too.
Totally. And that's why obviously it's so invaluable to be working with somebody to reflect that back to you and to help you get clarity on, exactly where it is that you are creating stuckness for yourself, because it's always us that's creating that. Because we're just not willing to let go of it, or it's a blind spot that it's just been a blind spot for such a long time that we're just so used to it. And it's just having that space to be able to reflect, and obviously working with someone like you have that amazing ability to just quickly identify those little nuggets that are like, oh yeah, that was it. Like, or to reflect that thing that actually you do know already, but you're just ignoring it because there's resistance around it and you don't want to move forward.
And we don't have to be hard on ourselves about this, because it's a process, right? So we have to be kind to ourselves that we're actually being brave in showing up and looking at this stuff and being like, yep, I want to expand, and if there's something in the way of my expansion, then I'm willing to have a look at that and move through it. So I really honor people that do that, because
yeah, that's so true. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage. I think I heard a quote from a Navy SEAL who came out of the SEALs and then went through therapy, and he was like, this was way harder than anything I ever had to do.
Wow.
in the SEAls, actually, facing up to your own stories and the ways that you hold yourself back, and your patterns, and being willing to look at that and to go through the process of releasing it and shifting it. And yeah, so, and I think especially for women, especially for creatives, especially for entrepreneurs, I'm really sorry, it's prime time for garden trimming.
That's okay. I had the garbage truck going past. It's all happening.
The garden looks beautiful, so.
And we're getting a house tour at the same time. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think that's a really important message to hit home, in that it's the number one thing that we need to work on as women is simply our confidence, and giving ourselves permission to, one, believe whatever it is that we desire is actually possible and is much easier than we think it is, because we are more capable than we think we are, and B, that it is good, right to be able to receive money for the things that we want to do.
Yes.
Really, really important message, and that money really is unlimited. It's unlimited. We created money. It's a human created thing, and nobody's missing out when you charge more money.
That's right. Yeah.
You can create different offerings where you give your time and energy and resources in different scalable ways, so that they are accessible for people at different price points. You can give away stuff for free, a portion of your time, your energy, your resources, and your expertise for free. But nobody misses out when you charge the prices that give you the time and the space to take care of yourself, to provide for your family, to give yourself the nurturing and the development and the investment in developing your skills to be able to show up in a bigger way for your clients and for the people in your community that you serve. So yeah, obviously this is something that both Sarah and I are really passionate about. It's what Create Money the Fun Way is all about, is getting really straight on all of that resistance that you have around receiving more money for the work that you most enjoy doing and that you're really good at, and really giving yourself permission to shift your career to one that's fun, that's easy, that is fulfilling, that gives you the time, space, and the freedom and the money that makes all of your dreams come true, because it's possible.
Yes, right? It is. And to build on the experience of what it's like when you raise your rates, actually people it's kind of easier in my experience of it has been that way. Like it's been less, inverted commas, less work charging more.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. It's all illogical. Nothing fits with the logic that we've had up until this
Yeah.
point. It's all about shifting that logic to something completely different. That actually, when you work less, you can earn more money. That actually, when you charge more, it's easier and less work than like struggling away and trying to juggle a million things and like not doing an amazing job at a million things. Being able to provide more value, working with clients who invest, who value the work that you do enough to, really invest themselves in it, which is what happens when you invite somebody to pay a higher price. It's actually they're more invested in the work.
Yeah.
Actually, they create better results because they bring more time and energy and focus to it.
Yeah. Yeah. A coach that I once had, he said to me, when people pay, they pay attention. And it's so true.
Yeah. And I've seen that. And I've had clients who you do get the odd one who I've delivered very similar content at like much lower prices and at higher prices. But for the majority, the people who are invested at lower amounts don't show up and they don't follow through as much on the same content. Occasionally you get that person who's like a type A,
Totally.
really hard worker, really committed, and they take everything and run with it, and they'll create the same results with the same material. But actually to really, and it's the same for me too. Like I've been the exact same when I've paid for like lower prices for things. I haven't followed through on it, but when I have paid higher prices for things, did I show up? Did I go all in? And did I get much, much better results? Yes, I did. So it's really, doing a service to the people that you're working with as well as to yourself in the way that you're able to show up and do your work when you do that. Which brings me to also, I'm running a Raise Your Rates free challenge to support people in getting into that conversation of really connecting with the value that you're providing, getting out of the stories of scarcity around people being able to afford things or not, and people not having any money and you being a bad person by charging more money because you're making the poor people suffer. Getting out of all of those stories and actually going through the fear of asking for more money, of raising your rates, of shifting the way that you're working so that it brings more value for you and for your clients. So I'll also drop the link to that in the comments, as well as the link to Create Money the Fun Way. Sign up, work with me and Sarah to completely transform your money story, release any resistance you have around being able to receive more money and creating the shifts of the work that you really want to be doing. And if you have any questions for us, we're going to be coming live every week. So anything about energy alignment, anything about mindset, money mindset, intuitive business strategy, send us your questions. And is there anything else you wanted to say before we hop off, Sarah?
Yeah, and if you've even got if you want to give a background to your question so that there's a little bit more context, that feel free to do that too, so that we can nut it out a little bit more for you. We'd be more than happy to do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, and I'll see you next week.
Yes, see you next week. Enjoy Hawaii.
Thanks. Aloha.
Bye-bye.